I want you to take a deep breath, settle in, and let the reality of what just happened wash over you, because the mainstream media, the Pentagon spin machine, and the washed-up generals on cable news are trying to hide the truth. But you are here, and you deserve the facts. Just days ago, the world changed.
4,000 kilometers, that's how far Iran just reached. Ballistic missiles fired at Diego Garcia.
As Iran launched 2 ballistic missiles at Diego Garcia, the joint US-UK military base located over 4,000 kilometers from Tehran.
A drastic and unprecedented escalation of West Asia war. The Iranian regime has launched multiple long-range ballistic missiles directly targeting the highly strategic US and UK joint military base at Diego Garcia in the...
Not with a whimper, but with the roar of a Khorramshahr missile launching from Iranian territory, flying over 4,000 kilometers across the open ocean and slamming into the consciousness of the United States military in a way that nothing has since Vietnam. We are witnessing the complete and utter collapse of American strategic dominance in West Asia, and the man holding the bag, Donald Trump, has just performed the most humiliating U-turn in the history of the American presidency. Let's set the stage. For weeks, the propaganda machine in Washington and Tel Aviv has been running at full throttle. We were told Iran was isolated, that its military was degraded, that its leadership was cowering in bunkers. Donald Trump stood at podiums, his chest puffed out, declaring that he was obliterating Iran's military-industrial complex.
What did you mean by that? You said the war was militarily won in Iran. What did you mean by that?
Oh, I think we've won. We've knocked out their Navy, their Air Force. We've knocked out their anti-aircraft. We've knocked out everything. We're roaming free. From a military standpoint, all they're doing is clogging up the strait. But from a military standpoint, they're finished.
So how much longer?
Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister, played the loyal lapdog, finally giving permission for the U.S. to use the strategic Indian Ocean base at Diego Garcia to launch strikes against Iran, thinking that this little rock, thousands of miles away, was a sanctuary, a safe haven from which the empire could project power without consequence. They thought they were safe. They thought the rules of the game were fixed, but they forgot one crucial detail. Iran has been playing a much longer game, a game of patience, mathematics, and sheer ballistic ingenuity. And on the day that Starmer gave the green light, Iran responded not with a diplomatic note, but with 2 intermediate-range ballistic missiles aimed directly at Diego Garcia. The message was clear: there is no sanctuary for you, not anywhere. Before we dive into the technical brilliance of this strike, the sheer audacity of it, I need to ask you something. If you are tired of the lies, tired of the narrative that the most powerful military in the world is invincible, I need you to do something for me right now. Hit the like button, smash it. Share this video with everyone you know who is tired of the propaganda. Drop a comment, even if it's just a dot, or better yet, tell me what you think about Donald Trump running away with his pants down. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. We are one of the last bastions of honest journalism left, and we don't take a dime from defense contractors. We rely on you. Do it now. All right, let's get into the details, because the technical specifications of this missile launch are going to make your jaw drop. The target was Diego Garcia. This is not some little outpost. This is the crown jewel of the US-UK military alliance in the Indian Ocean. It's a base that hosts B-52 bombers, nuclear submarines, and serves as a refueling hub for the entire region. The distance from Iran's coastline to this base is roughly 3,800 to 4,000 kilometers. Let me put that into perspective. For decades, the American military-industrial complex operated under the comfortable assumption that Iran's missile range was capped at 2,000 kilometers. The Iranian foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, even said last month that they had deliberately limited the range to 2,000 kilometers as a matter of policy. That was yesterday. That was the old Iran.
Let me ask you, because you have said that this was a war of choice. President Trump said one of the reasons for launching this war was that Iran, quote, already had missiles capable of hitting Europe and our bases and would soon have missiles capable of reaching America. Was Iran planning to directly attack the United States?
Well, this is not true. this is in fact misinformation. We have capability to produce missiles, but we have intentionally limited ourselves to below 2,000 kilometers of range because we don't want to be felt as a threat by anybody else in the world. We have not started any plan to increase the range of our missiles more than what it is right now.
However, what we saw was the unveiling of a capability that the Pentagon's top war planners insisted was years away. These weren't just any missiles. Reports indicate that Iran utilized the Khorramshahr-4 missile, a liquid-fueled medium-range ballistic missile that has been upgraded to the point of being a strategic game-changer. This missile is a marvel of engineering. It's designed to carry a massive payload, and in this instance, it is believed to have been armed with a cluster munition warhead. Think about that. A cluster warhead designed to saturate an airfield. The purpose wasn't just to hit the base. It was to make the airbase unusable, to crater the runways, to destroy the fuel depots, to scatter bomblets across the tarmac so that no F-35 could take off or land. It was a direct surgical threat to the U.S. Air Force's ability to project power from that region. One of the missiles reportedly failed mid-flight, and a U.S. Navy destroyer managed to fire an SM-3 interceptor at the second. But here's the part they don't want you to focus on. The fact that the interception happened at all, and the uncertainty surrounding it, proves that the missile came terrifyingly close to completing its mission. Even the attempt, the sheer act of launching a ballistic missile over 4,000 kilometers into the Indian Ocean, shattered the illusion of American invincibility. Now, let's talk about the trajectory and how Iran achieved this. To reach a target 4,000 kilometers away, the missile didn't fly a straight, flat line. It utilized a highly lofted trajectory, essentially throwing the warhead high into the upper atmosphere, almost to the edge of space, before letting gravity and guidance systems do the rest. This isn't just about fuel. It's about guidance, heat shielding, and the ability to command a missile over the horizon. For years, the West has been funding think tanks that insisted Iran couldn't master this. But they forgot the legacy of Hassan Tehrani Moghadam. They assassinated him in 2011, thinking they could kill the program. They thought that bombing his research facilities and killing the father of Iran's missile program would set them back decades. But the student has surpassed the teacher. The Iranian military-industrial complex has done what the Americans said was impossible. They miniaturized the guidance systems, they perfected the solid fuel boosters, and they created a weapon that can reach deep into the Indian Ocean.
یه اقتداری جمهوری اسلامی کسب کرد فقط خاص ابرقدرت هست در بخش مشکل زمین به زمین فقط به شما این جمله رو میتونم بگم مرزی برای برد وجود ندارد و امریکایی‌ها میفهمند تهدید بر علیه جمهوری اسلامی برابر است که پاسخ متقابل خواهند دید.
And then came the statements from Tehran that must have made the walls of the Pentagon shake. Ali Khamenei, the late supreme leader, had previously limited the range of Iranian missiles out of strategic restraint.
ما یه روزی در میدان جنگ از لحاظ مهمات ما 2 جو توپ گلوله توپ می‌تونیم تولید کنیم. حالا الان موشک بالستیکمون از راه دور که 2000 کیلومتر میتونه 2000 کیلومتر بنده گفتم حالا اینا میخواستن برن تا 4-5 دارن من نگذاشتم بله آقا علتی داره علتی من مانع شدم یعنی گفتم بیشتر از 2000 کیلومتر الان نباید درست کنم اونا هم شکایت دارن از من گله من که فلانی نمیذاره این 2000 کیلومتر نقطه زن 2000 کیلومتر چیز بسیار برجسته است اینا نقطه زن هست، یعنی مثلا به فاصله 10 متر
But the Americans and the Israelis mistook that restraint for weakness. They pushed, they assassinated, they bombed, and now the leash is off. Recent reports confirm that Khamenei has lifted all limits on missile range. All limits. The implication is terrifying for the West. If Iran can hit Diego Garcia at 4,000 kilometers, what's stopping them from hitting Eastern Europe? What's stopping them from hitting the British Isles? The American narrative that they can wage a war of attrition against Iran from a safe distance is dead. It was buried in the Indian Ocean the moment that missile cleared its silo. This brings us to the extraordinary, and I mean truly pathetic, U-turn by Donald Trump. Just weeks ago, he was beating the war drum harder than anyone. He was promising to police the Strait of Hormuz, threatening to blockade Karg Island, and promising to degrade Iran's military to the point of collapse. He was so confident that he had Iran cornered. But look at him now. Days after Iran demonstrated the ability to hit Diego Garcia, Trump is backpedaling so fast he's leaving skid marks on the White House lawn. In a stunning reversal, he announced that the United States will no longer be responsible for policing the Strait of Hormuz. He said, and I quote, "The Hormuz Strait will have to be guarded and policed as necessary by other nations who use it. The United States does not." Let me translate that for you. We tried to bully Iran. They called our bluff and fired a missile at our fortress in the middle of the ocean. And now I'm taking my ball and going home because I'm scared. This is the same man who promised he would obliterate Iran. This is the same administration that sent aircraft carriers, bombers, and thousands of Marines to the region, boasting about how they were going to force Iran to its knees. But after 20 days of bombing, let's look at the results. Iran's air defense network? It's not degraded, it's functioning. Iranian leadership? Intact. Despite a history of assassinations targeting their commanders and nuclear scientists, the Iranian government is running better than ever. In fact, they are exporting more oil today than they were before this war started. They are making more money. Their economy is still standing. And the Strait of Hormuz? It's effectively closed. The most powerful military in the world is sitting there, watching tankers get stopped, watching drone attacks on refineries in Kuwait, and they are too scared to send a frigate to force it open. Why? Because they know that if they send a ship, it will be met with a swarm of missiles and drones that the Pentagon has no answer for. So, this leaves us watching Donald Trump running away with his pants down, washing his hands of the Strait of Hormuz, and pretending that he achieved his objectives. It leaves the British government scrambling to figure out why they volunteered their territory to be a target. And it leaves the world with a stark reality. Iran is now a recognized missile power with intercontinental reach. They have the Khorramshahr, they have the technology, and they have the will to use it. The farce is over. The lies about degrading Iran are exposed as the highest order of nonsense. The only thing that was degraded in this conflict was the credibility of the American military threat. And now, as we watch Trump signal a withdrawal, a full-scale retreat, we have to ask, who is going to police the waters now? The answer is no one, because no one is foolish enough to test Iran's new red lines. The rules have changed. The empire is in retreat. And the world is witnessing, in real time, the birth of a new strategic reality. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. We are just seeing the opening salvos of a new era, one where the U.S. can no longer dictate terms from across the ocean. As we wrap up, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Keep your eyes on the horizon, and never forget, the truth, no matter how hard they try to hide it, will always find its way out.